Celeb Savant is a career retrospective type interview focusing on singers, actors, and industry experts. Join Barrett Edelstein now as he dives into the entertainment world.
British Celia Peachey is a playwright, actress, and founder of Ultimate Alchemist, where artistry, identity, and transformation meet. With training from the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, a scholarship to the Moscow Arts Theatre, and an MA in Fine Art from Chelsea College of Arts, she has built a body of work that spans performance, leadership, and personal evolution. From the Edinburgh Fringe to the Houses of Parliament, Celia brings a powerful message to every stage. Your artistry is not separate from your power. It is the source of it. She's also the creator of Love is the Currency, an interactive live experience launching at festivals in 2026. Up next on Celeb Savant, we've got Celia Peachey. Where are you in the world and how are you doing?
I am in the UK on one of the hottest summers that has been for a very long time.
Okay.
And I'm in a really good space. Thank you for asking. Yourself?
All good. So now let's rewind to the beginning. At what age, whether as a child or teenager, did you think, okay, I want to be in this sort of creative world? And how did that journey progress?
Gosh, that's a really good question. I think that I discovered acting when I went to a performing arts school in Cambridge when I first ever left home. And I really loved dance and I loved being in my body. But acting was something that had a different thought process that fascinated me. And I always wondered what it must be like to walk in someone else's shoes. And I feel like I always wanted to be better understood. So I took it upon myself to better understand characters and people. And I went on that journey of, I guess, the journey of conscious creation, or like how a person creates their life or what makes someone tick.
So you understanding that acting and developing these characters were what fascinated you. What were the next steps?
I applied to drama school of speech and drama in Swiss Cottage, which is one of the best in the world. And I trained with some of the best teachers and tutors in the world. And I realized that acting is really, it's almost like a mystery school of really clearing all of the programming in order for you to be a vehicle for another character, to understand transformation, to understand how to think and act differently. So it prepared me for a lot of life's initiations.
In or grabbing the professional world of acting and performing, were there and are there any aspects that surprised you that you did not realize would be part of the professional process that is?
Yes, I think that when I went to acting school, I thought I was going to be famous. I thought it was going to be easy. And then I realized that the industry and the craft are completely separate and completely different. And it was quite the journey of realization. However, the training itself, as I said previously, prepared me to become an artist in my own right, because what it showed me was that I wasn't supposed to necessarily read from other people's scripts. I was supposed to write my own and be my own author of my life.
How long in your career did that realization take to hit you? Was it like a few years, couple of months?
It was immediate. When I first got to drama school, kind of a spiritual awakening, cracking wide open to a lot of different just distortions around what was normal and what wasn't, because we were looking into the nature of family dynamics, character dynamics, and it was fascinating. And it was very clear to me that we all came from different walks of life, and that, just studying different characters and what makes people operate the way that they do, and that the craft and the industry, I think that realization came later on. And you leave drama school and you go to the audition, is that some of the scripts, unless you're very blessed, they aren't the best. When you realize that you're creating your own reality through what you think about and what you speak, it becomes a liberation not to actually allow those scripts to be part of your movie, I guess.
So when you decided you were going to create your own stories and narratives, was that an easy process to dive in, or did you find it challenging?
So when I discovered that I was meant to write my own scripts, that was a very difficult process. In the sense that I'd never done it before. I'd never written a play. I hadn't taken on such a big project full of sequences that had to have a through line, and that all the characters had to have a reason for connecting or coming into contact. And so all of those things, they expanded my mind and made me think in a completely different way that stretched me. But I feel like all of the writing classes, the studying of movies, the scenes, the subtext, all of that was perfect preparation for me to be able to do it myself.
Tell us about some of the projects that you have created.
Yes, okay. So my first real writing endeavor after poetry and writing in my journal and all of those things and writing endless affirmations and manifesting miracles, I decided to go down the route of playwriting. And I wrote a play called Girl Constantly Effing Interrupted about a girl called Faith who had multiple personality disorder. And she had to choose meditation over medication because I was very aware of the fragmentation of my psyche and of a person's psyche when they go through a loss or something difficult in their life. And that was the message my life was showing me. And I was piecing the pieces of the puzzle together in order to create a deeper understanding for myself and the people that I was speaking to. I took it to Edinburgh Fringe Festival back in 2010, and it went from 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars to 5 stars.
So when you conceptualizing and you're putting yourself out there to create this thing as a part of you, and it's vulnerable, and then you see the people respond and you feel the success, what is that process for you?
I guess it's one of equanimity, because there was a point in the process where it's really struggling to act my own play, in all honesty. It took a while for the coherence to really anchor within me because I played 5 different characters. Once I did, it was like something was streaming through me, and it was effortless. It was incredible. And I got a standing ovation. People were talking about it. It went through the roof. But the thing is that previously I was slated as having mental health issues and that I had issues that I needed to look at. And I was like, that's the whole point of the play, is that I'm trying to show you that this is about my psychological and emotional well-being and how it's under attack. And I'm doing something to address it and to be aware of myself and to come home to wholeness. And so when I did get the success, it was very real to me to be grateful, but to treat it with reverence and respect, and also just be in my equanimity about it, because I nearly threw in the towel at one point because everybody was kind of slating me and it. And then I thought, well, who am I doing this for? I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for people that are going through a difficult process, and I want them to choose art over pills, over numbing, over suppression, over the societal conditioning to just hide their pain. And I just leveled up and I followed through the process. And then when I did get the 5 stars, I was proud of myself, yes. But then I also just said, well, let's just use this as fuel to continue on the next, leg of the journey, because I don't want to get too high or get too low. It was like I had a long journey to walk through. So
Yes.
that's how I addressed it. I didn't let my ego get in the way.
I like that, because sometimes when people have a success in awards, winning a show, for some people, it becomes part of their identity. So person A is this equals this award, or this equals that 5 stars. And that's not who they are. That's just a fraction of their performance and their reality. But they hold on to that for dear life, just feeling that because of that success, they don't want to let it go and slip away. So that's how they hold on to it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's always been a concern of mine, is that will be the one moment in time of greatness, and you keep looking as far back down the pipeline for that one moment. Whereas I've always been very aware that my identity, it's always being upgraded, and that through being present, I get to create a new reality. I get to celebrate a new version of myself through taking dynamic action in the direction of my dreams. And I choose that my greatest moments are in the moment. They're not something that I look back on 5 years ago and say, oh, that was it, that was the moment.
Tell us what's coming up over the next period of time.
Yes. Okay, so it's June 18th to the 21st, I am at a festival called Elemental Temple, and I'm taking one of my signature projects there called Love is the Currency. It's an experiential group experience where we talk about money, the wounds, the dreams, and we start to alchemize the distortions around it and expand the truth of who we choose to be in relationship to it, because everything's a relationship. And so it's going to be a somatic experience with dialogue and music and exchanges, deep exchanges, and then a celebration of a new vibration and frequency in relationship to money. So it's alchemizing the shadows and bringing limitless wealth. The premise is that limitless wealth is your natural resonance. And when you clear the fear and the scarcity, you get access to that, which is love. Because when you invest from a place of love and you take action from a place of love, you always get your ROI. That's my experience. It always comes back one way or another, and normally tenfold. It's about 90 minutes. It's an experience.
Okay.
And we go through a whole process. But then I have an online 6-week training program that I take people through with a whole process of re-relating to their life, to the challenges, to the wounding, to recalibrate their relationship so that they can show up and play on a whole new level. There's activations which are really cinematic and somatic to really take you on that journey of going into a deeper level of possibility in relationship to wealth.
Obviously, studying and being an actor also helped you develop these skills in creating this world. At what point in your career did you say, okay, I want to activate this and present these processes as well?
I think when I went to Chelsea's College of Arts, that's when I realized I love art, but I was also always hungry to combine it with some sense of purpose for humanity. I was always very aware that what I focus on, it augments who I become. And due to a lot of challenges in my life, I realized that I really wanted to guide my focus to being on purpose and to be in relationship to love and to healthy, high vibe thoughts, experiences, people. And so I could manifest things that made my life feel like an adventure and like a relationship with a lover. I mean, ultimately, our relationship is with life.
Yes.
And that's what art gave me. It made me realize that this is a co-creative experience, and how I could blend art with a sense of purpose and a sense of service as well.
A lot of people in the world struggle with the law of attraction. So my definition of the law of attraction is what I think about, talk about, stress about, joke about, focus on, put energy in, I create. I observe a lot of people sort of not getting it, because for them, without judgment, it's easier to blame sister, mother, president, country for their situation than to look in the mirror and say, well, I did this to myself. So for anyone at the moment who's currently struggling with manifestation, what advice would you give them?
The system really is ours to change. I fought the criminal justice system for 10 years and I had every reason to feel like a victim, but I knew that wasn't going to serve me or my soul's expansion. So I took myself to the various places and spaces to process my challenges, my resentments, my insecurities, so that I could see how I could turn them into something empowering and live a life of meaning rather than the meaningless. And you have to take responsibility for the fact that you are the one who creates the meaning through what you focus on, the meaning that you assign to events, and then the actions you take. And if you keep interpreting everything through your wounding, then you're going to end up a wounded individual, point blank. We all have wounds. It's not personal. Life is trying to show you to level up and choose love and not choose to act from a place of fear. And that requires a spiritual awakening and a spiritual practice. So by the grace of God go I would pray and I would meditate and I would alchemize the energy that is holding you in the vibration of fear. And that takes great courage because you have to look it in the eye.
Any other events or happenings for the rest of the year, or we just follow that on your website?
My brand is called Ultimate Alchemist, and it's about using the contrast to manifest the best. Like, you are the artist of your life and your artistry is your wealth. It's not a metaphor, it's a living operating system. So Love is the Currency is happening online. It may go to other festivals. That people can check my Instagram for that, which is at Miss Peachey Celia, or Celia Peachey on Facebook, which is Peachey. So there's online events happening, and then there's some other smaller events, but the dates are yet to be confirmed. So I guess connect with me there and let's have a conversation and watch the space.
Celia, the podcast is listened to throughout the world. As a final message to the audience, what would you like to say?
I would like to say that life loves you, and when you choose to be present and let go of the narrative that doesn't serve you, you get to become the author of your own life and activate your artistic rebellion. And you've got to give yourself permission to do that. So give yourself permission, play full out, and have the time of your life.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Celeb Savant. Please follow Barrett on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Celeb Savant. That's CelebSavant.